Okay, so we're recording, and it keeps asking me, are UFOs real? And what's your answer?
They positively are true, and they are real. When I was still going to Utah State, I was traveling between Vernon and Logan, Utah, and I was in my car, a 1963 Chevy Bel Air, and down close to what we call the flats, close to the Clover turnoff, I noticed a really, really bright object in the sky. And then I noticed that there were more than one. And so I pulled over to see if I could figure out what they were. I actually thought they must have been helicopters, because supposedly the National Guard was doing maneuvers in the area.
What year was this again? I missed what you said.
I can't tell you for sure, but it had to have been in 1960, 68
Somewhere
or
around there.
69.
Okay.
68 or 69.
Okay.
Anyway, I pulled over to the side of the road, got out of my car, and I watched. And there were 6 of them. And they were flying in formation, very high. And as I watched them, they were headed south, and they went south, and all of a sudden they stopped right where they were. And then they came down, looked like they were going to come right down to the ground, but they didn't. They hovered probably several hundred feet above the ground. They went back up. They went further south. And by this time, other cars on the highway saw me pulled over looking at these. So they pulled over.
Here, I'm going to hit pause real quick because I'm at 2 minutes. Okay, part 2.
Part 2.
So the other cars pulled over.
So the other cars pulled over and they said, "What is it?" And I said, "You got me. This is the strangest thing I've ever seen. Look, I think they must be helicopters because they go straight, and then they go down, and they can go up, and then they can move all over." And we sat there and we watched them for probably 20 or 30 minutes. And that's all they did in the valley. And we could watch them move from place to place. And then all of a sudden, they came down very low. And then the next thing they did is went straight up, out of sight, gone.
Whoa.
And the guy next to him in the other car says, "That was really weird." And I said, "I'm going to turn on the radio." And so I turned on KSL, who has all of the news. And they said, "We've been hearing reports from Tooele County that there are unknown objects, unidentified flying objects. We have contacted the National Guard, who is on maneuvers between Rush Valley and Dugway. They say they have no helicopters in the air. They are nothing involved with anything like that. We have called Hill Air Force Base and talked to the base commander. There are no jets from Hill Air Force Base involved in any maneuvers in the area. Therefore, they are classifying what we saw in Tooele County this day as unidentified flying objects. We will let you know if we hear any more." Nothing was ever heard any more about it. So they remain to this very day as unidentified flying objects. That tells me if they weren't from the Air Force, if they weren't from the National Guard, who else would have that big of objects capable of flying low, stopping, up or down, moving, and then going straight up out of sight within seconds?
Aliens!
What'd you say, hon?
Aliens!
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think as to whether there was anybody inside, I know not. But I know those craft were something different than what people might think. They could easily have been from somewhere else.
Oh, awesome.
I believe in aliens. As a freshman, listen to this.
Oh, here,
as
let
a
me hit
freshman-
pause and I'll start again. Okay, part 3.
Part 3. as an alien,
As an alien? What was that like? Just kidding.
it was really different. But what's really interesting is that as a freshman at Utah State, I had to do a research paper in my English class.
Yeah. This is awesome.
In my English class, I decided to do a research paper on unidentified flying objects because I had actually seen unidentified flying objects. So I did a lot of research, and I found out that I was not the only one that had seen such things, that there were people in, for example, in New Mexico who had seen them, Arizona had them. In fact, almost every state in the Union had reports of unidentified flying objects. So it wasn't
Massachusetts?
just me. I don't know about any of these other locations, but all I can say is for me, in Utah, I indeed did see unidentified flying objects. Unfortunately, I don't know whatever happened to my term paper. But it would have been fun to read, but I don't have it, unfortunately. So, any question?